Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Holt from Exodus and formerly from Slayer, and you're listening to The Razor's Edge.
Hey guys, Tom here from the Razor's Edge, and I'm here with Peter Spiby of Black Spiders. How are you doing, my friend? You okay?
I'm all right. Yes, thank you. It's a good Sabbath day today.
It is indeed. It's the London Marathon was back today, wasn't it? If I
Yes,
remember rightly.
that's right. Yeah, it was. There was a lot going on today, but I think in London that was like probably like the biggest thing that was happening.
Was it his first time back since COVID? Or am I
I'm
losing?
not
Am I losing
sure
the
to be
plot?
honest. It's possible. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of things haven't been happening over the last couple of years, so it's very possible. But not being particularly sporty, I wouldn't. I haven't got my pulse on the finger where that's concerned, I'm
Yeah,
afraid.
that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. But talking of the pandemic, how was your couple of years? Like, how were things for you?
Bit lonely.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it was all right. I mean, we managed to, in fact, well, I mean, I guess that was the rise, you know, of Black Spiders again. Really, was through the pandemic. We decided to get together again in the summer of, the end of the summer of 2019. And then, myself and Ozzy had set about starting to really do some intensive writing, and basically as we started that off and COVID kicked in and all the lockdowns and everything, it became a very creative time. So yeah, it was really good. I didn't get a lot of DIY done, but I got quite a lot of song ideas and yeah, I was inspired really. It was kind of like almost like getting your second wind. When you're out boozing or if you're eating a meal and you can't particularly finish that meal. It was a little bit like that. So basically, it was almost like my mojo had been reignited, and and basically I was off on a mission.
No, it's awesome. It's great to see you guys back. I don't know if you don't want me to touch on it, I won't, but you can tell me to move on, it's fine. But what actually happened originally? Why did you guys split in the first place?
I think we'd all got a little bit jaded with everything, really. We've been going for quite a long time. We'd got to a certain place, um, you know, um, on the world rock stage, as it were. Um,
Yeah.
and we'd our second album came out on a record label, which we kind of originally had said that we weren't going to do because we'd all kind of been involved previously with nightmares where being involved with labels were concerned, and I think I think that's what really kind of set the ball rolling. Really was we were all kind of a little bit fed up with it, and it already got into everyone's psyche, and as things have been moving on, everyone's life had started getting a little bit different. So yeah, it was like we kind of agreed to just sit on it for a little bit and and have a little bit of time off from it as opposed to actually splitting up. We
Okay.
just decided to put it on the back burner for a while and then see what happened. And then, as I said, in the summer of 2019, Ozzy was getting married, and we were all there at the wedding, and we'd kind of seen each other a little bit, maybe not all at the same time, and so we just had a chat about it really, and I suggested maybe trying to get another record done, and so that was like the start of it all again, really.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. It's great. It's great that you guys are back on the scene and thriving from the looks of it, which is great. Um, let's go all the way back, Peter. Like, what actually got you into music in the first place? What made you want to be a musician originally?
Um, well, my older sisters were both very talented musicians in their own right, and and at the time when I was younger, when they were kind of doing all that, I wasn't particularly bothered about an instrument. But then halfway through high school, I started playing drums. And then I got a band together with some mates from school, and I guess that's when I caught the bug, really. So yeah, when I was maybe about 11 or 12 or something like that, I remember, kind of always been into music, and so my mum and dad had quite a good collection of music, and we always listened to music on the radio and what have you, and then my sisters went through lots of different music phases that came through the UK, like in the 70s or whatever. And then so I heard all that when I was at home, and so that was kind of like that was the grounding for it, really. And then I think when I started playing drums at school with some mates in a band, we were kind of just doing covers of like fairly simple songs. I say, like, we're playing Kiss and AC/DC and Ramones and stuff like that, and I think maybe I just got the bug then, really, and thought, I don't want a proper job. I want to do this for the rest of my life.
I mean, it's definitely a proper
Here
job.
we are. Yeah.
So would you say that Kiss and AC/DC and Ramones, etc., are what influenced Black Spiders now?
Yeah, I think it's still there. There's a wide variety of influences. When we first got it together, it was basically like a bunch of mates that got together to, that had a wide range of musical influences, and we'd never really played together before, but we'd always played in different bands. And we just wanted to sort of create something that we would like, that we would have wanted to see, because there wasn't any bands around on the scene at the time that was anything like Black Spiders, became. So I think that's kind of how it started, really, So those three bands are probably, part of it, but like, it's obviously there's quite a breadth of stuff, everything from, Black Sabbath to the Hives and Motorhead, and just so many, but I think a lot of the time, there's a few bands that there's quite a few bands that all five of us loved. We'd probably all say yes, Sabbath were amazing, but maybe not all five members of the band would have said that Zeppelin were amazing. So so there was some not conflict, but there was some sort of I guess variety, is probably the right way of putting it. So I mean, we've been called a lot of different things, kind of genre wise, and it's probably because of all the different sorts of influence of rock that we like, that our records are quite varied.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's always good to have that mix, though. I think if you go down one road, I suppose there's only so much you can do. Whereas if you've got all these different avenues coming in, there's so much you can do. This is great. How did you actually get your name, Black Spiders? Where did that come from? Because I know a lot of people go through a lot of different ones before they get to what they actually use.
Well, originally, basically, because of my surname, my nickname was always Spider. And we did a gig where it was almost like two bands pretty much played together as one band. So we had a drummer, maybe 6 guitarists, 2 bass players, and I just sang at that point. And this was kind of this was before Black Spiders had totally started, and Erwin, who's the bass player in Black Spiders, his bandmates used to call me the Black Spider, I think because they thought I had a dark sense of humor, and so that's kind of where it originally sort of came from, really. And we played a gig doing loads of covers for our mates' wake, and I think that's where we decided that we wanted to do something that encompassed all those bands that we'd done as the covers, and because we had such a great time, like we ended up doing another gig, and then it wasn't long before that we actually thought about doing something a bit more serious and and then doing our own stuff. Yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, because I got your surname horribly wrong in my head. I'm not going to put it out on here, but yeah, that's great. I mean, lyrics wise, then, I mean, I take it do you write them solely, or do you have other people? Do you have like your guitarist with you and stuff?
No, I have a man that comes in and does them for me.
Oh, yeah.
No, not really. No, it's all down to my bizarre mind. All the lyrics, yeah.
Are they story based, or are they very personal to you, or what? How do you get your lyrics?
It's varied, really. I mean, because there's no particular one way that songwriting comes to any of us, really. I don't think. It's just trying to remember those things, and there's like lots of little, there's maybe lots of little phrases when we've been out on tour, or something's come up, or someone's misheard somebody say something, and you just make it. I just can't. I've always been someone that makes a note of things, and so I'll jot things down, and then sometimes I'll come back to it, and I'll so I've got hundreds of like little lyric ideas here, there, and everywhere, and then sometimes I'll just I guess it just depends what's on my mind at the time when it comes to actually doing the song. Sometimes you'll go into, like, when we go into the studio, we'll have like a song will have like a nickname as opposed to the actual song, and sometimes I might be singing like sometimes I might be singing just some kind of words that have got the right vowels in there and then sometimes in the studio the actual final words will be done, but sometimes the lyrics come straight away, and it's like, yeah, like sometimes the words come even before the music, and I kind of like try and fit some music around it. So there's like lots of different ways, but lyrically, like when I'm writing a song, sometimes I'll try and tell a story. I used to be a fan of like all those Boy's Own comics, like Commando and stuff like that when I was younger. Like my dad had like loads of these old war story magazines and all these different bits, and I used to love the Tintin books and stuff like that. And so I just sometimes try and make them a little bit more like a Boy's Own story. So, or whatever, but obviously girls are included to read it. But it was just that sometimes it was like like when we used to do all the little skits and stuff in between the songs on the albums and everything, it was all kind of to just kind of build up this whole sort of like scene in your mind of like what was going on with the songs and everything, and and the whole thing with the artwork for the first couple of albums was kind of all like a huge story, that we kind of just made up as it went along, really. And yeah, but some of the songs are nonsensical and don't mean anything, but maybe maybe a psychiatrist could tell me they do. I don't know. It's really hard to say. It's hard to say.
It's when they make look at those ink blot pictures. It's like one of those, and you go,
It
"What
is,
do you
yeah,
see in that?" Yeah,
and I'd probably be just seeing Gene Simmons, and that'd be it. And they'd be like going, "Oh, right, that's what's going on here, right? Okay." Yeah.
So, your drummer is Wyatt from Planet Rock Radio, correct?
He is our new drummer, yes.
Wonderful. Has he ever like play? Does he have moments where he just play a Black Spiders track every now and then? Because I think radio presenters can pick what they want to play, can't they? I think
They can, but unfortunately, it wasn't an easy ride with us getting a drummer that's on a planet, that's on Planet Rock, and he's going to be blasting our music out all the time. At the moment, there's, he's not really allowed to play any of our own music because, they say that that's a bit self-indulgent. I know there are other presenters on there that play their own bands and things, but I think Wyatt's not allowed to. So unless it's
Okay.
only unless it's requested, he can play our music, or we've been playlisted. Um, I think even then, it's a bit difficult for him to actually put it on without um, being charged with nepotism or something like that. So, yeah.
Okay.
So it's quite difficult, but um, but we got him for the drums, not to play our music, so that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I just
Yeah,
thought it was a bit of
there's
double
better
bubble.
DJs out there. Maybe you'd be better off cutting that bit out. No, I'm joking. He'll know I'm joking. He'll know I'm joking.
um, I suppose we should talk about the brand new album, shouldn't we? Really?
If you want to,
Yeah.
I'm game for whatever you want. So yeah.
Wonderful. Can't I Won't Die is out Friday, 12th of May. Are you excited for the release?
Yeah, finally it's coming out. I mean, we've had this album done for quite a while, and because we're now actually going to be putting it out through Spine Farm Universal, it's taken a while to actually get the full thing ready to go, and a lot of that has had to do with the way production is available because of COVID and everything. There's like a lot of the vinyl plants were closed down, and so the waiting time for vinyl is quite a long time. And I think we've been we were in a vinyl queue for like 9 months waiting to get the album pressed. So it's been quite a while.
Wow. Is that the only reason it was delayed slightly?
Yeah, well, originally it was going to be coming out at the end of last summer, and then it was scheduled to, but then because of the queues of vinyl or whatever and everything else, and we were going to put it out at the beginning of this year, but then it got kind of put back again to May. So yeah, there's been a couple of times it's meant to have come out. So it's finally coming out on the 12th, and we're really happy about it.
Yeah,
but maybe
good.
that's just the way it is, and I mean, we've not we've had a little bit of good luck along the way, but I think we all agree that we've probably got some kind of curse on our heads for sure. Yeah.
Well,
I'm fingers crossed
excited.
it'll come out and everything will be cool, and we can move on to the next record.
Yes. Have you already started Are you already in the process of that, or are you waiting for?
Yeah, well, like I was saying, we had we already had quite a lot of songs through lockdown, and then towards the end of lockdown, I was listening to something on the radio, not Wyatt's radio program, obviously, because I don't listen to it. I was listening to something, and they were talking about this group of people called the 100, who basically what they do is they pick a challenge, like they challenge themselves, and they do something every day for 100 days that they find really, really challenging. And so I decided to write a song every day for 100 days. And so now we've got such a pile of songs. It's really mind blowing. Yeah. So I'm sure we've got the next 2 or 3 albums in there somewhere.
Wow, that's incredible. Fair play.
So and the thing is, songs are still pouring out of me, and and like never mind the rest of the band. So it's so hopefully like we'll have the next album might be who knows, might be a double album, might end up being something else. I mean, we've got lots of ideas for what we want to do for the next record, but we just want to get this one out first, and then concentrate on what we can do when we've got some downtime.
Yes, no, absolutely. You've already released Hot Wheels and what I believe, in my opinion, to be a Matthew McConaughey inspired song, which is All Right, All Right, All Right.
Yes, you're right. You're not wrong.
Wonderful. Have these singles been well received?
Well, Hot Wheels was actually the first song that we've had playlisted on Wyatt's radio. On Wyatt's radio, it's not his radio show, but on Wyatt's on Planet Rock that Wyatt works for. That's kind of like the first track that's been playlisted on there, which has been quite, this has been, I guess, quite exciting for the band, really, because obviously that means that other radio stations are going to pick up on that as well. And so it's been really good, and hopefully the same thing will happen for All Right, All Right, All Right. But that only kind of came out on on Friday, so we're still waiting to hear about a few things. But we've got on a few playlists, I think, at the moment with Apple Music and with something through Amazon Music as well. So it's kind of like different things are picking up, on like where we've never actually dipped our toe before, which is good, because it's always good to kind of just grow your audience and and have your core fan base and just have more and more people listen to the band, really.
No, absolutely, and that's awesome that's been playlisted elsewhere as well. It's great.
Yeah.
What would you say sets this album out apart from the other three?
Oh, good question. This is more of a party album, I think. It's like all the songs are sort of like pretty much banging straight in your face, and we originally had a different track listing because there were other songs that we recorded at the same time, that then it was agreed that we would change the track listing, and we kind of took off like we got like a really epic, long sludgy sort of Sabbathy kind of song, and we took that off the album, and it completely gave it like a different feel. And the last three albums have all had quite a bit of dark as well as light, whereas this one seems it's probably all light. I mean, like there is a sort of song that's a little bit more sort of laid back, and it's quite different, but it's not our usual sort of detuned stoner vibe. Yeah, I don't really think there's much stoner vibe going off on this record, which is, it's not a great thing, but it's not a bad thing. I mean, like, people know what we're all about anyway, so it's fine. I think if they hear this album and it's the first record that they hear of ours, when they go to the back catalogue, they'll probably go, "Oh, right." So yeah, so it's okay, because the next record will definitely have some of those on, so that's fine.
How do you just like you say about track listing? You said you had other songs on there. How do you decide what order the songs going on the record?
Oh my God, it's a nightmare. I mean, the thing is, in a democratic way, we choose we choose the songs that we want to go on the album, and then we kind of compile that, and then look at, if one song has had like everybody wants that on, then we kind of go from there, really. And we kind of, once we know what the album tracks are going to be, then we kind of just go backwards and forwards, really, with like thinking, oh, well, this is definitely an opener, but so is this one. So does that one open the album, and does that one kind of open side two? Because we always kind of think in terms of vinyl as opposed to, or cassette, as opposed to a CD. Yeah, and then it goes from there. And sometimes there's definitely like an album closer or something, and yeah, and we take it from there, and we kind of wrestle with it for a bit, but it doesn't really take long, and sometimes a little bit of compromise here and there, and and we'll get there straight away, and it's good.
That's all. I mean, personally, two favorites of mine was All Right, All Right, All Right was one of them, because it's got a delicious bass line in there that I absolutely loved. I picked up immediately as soon as I heard it. And Traitor's Walk, I really enjoyed. Really enjoyed that one.
Fabulous. Well, that one originally didn't make the album, and then that was one of the ones, we kind of, in fact, we swapped two songs out, and that was one of the songs that we swapped back in.
Oh, good. Well, from a personal standpoint, I absolutely love that track.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's as much as the other song, as much as the other two songs that we took off were quite different, but sort of almost similar to stuff that we've done before. Traitor's Walk was quite different, and so we kind of thought we should put that on the record, just because it sounded right, in that. And I think then after listening to everything, it was like, yeah, we made the right choice. So.
No, I agree. I agree with you guys. Absolutely. It's certainly get people moving anyway, which is what you want.
Yeah.
Are there any tracks on this record that you are particularly proud of?
Oh, all of them, obviously.
Yeah.
Uh, but I guess I don't know. I mean, like Hot Wheels came together quite well. Um, I remember just on the way to rehearsals, a riff came into my head, and I was like, "Oh my God, what is that? What song is that?" And I was like, I was, I was sure that it was an AC/DC track, and I just lost the plot, and I didn't know what song it was. And we got to rehearsal, and I played the riff, and I said, "What is this song?" And everyone was like going, "Don't know, never heard it before. What is it?" And I'm like going, "Oh, it's an idea I've come up with," and they're going, "Right." And I went, "Is it not an AC/DC song?" And they're going, "No." And I'm like, "Okay." And then so I'm proud that made it into like a full song. And then obviously, all right, all right, all right. In a way, is very that kind of came together in a similar way to Kiss Tried to Kill Me did, in that like I had a dream about Matthew McConaughey uh, it was like some kind of 80s movie, like arm wrestling movie. I'm sure there's one out there with Sylvester Stallone in, but like this was Matthew McConaughey, and he was like arm wrestling the devil, and it was like when I woke up, the whole thing was still so clear in my mind that I spent weeks like researching whether or not he'd been in a film like that. And at first I was thinking, oh my God, like, I'm sure I've heard Matthew McConaughey say, all right, all right, all right. And when have I seen him do that? And so then I had to research that, and I realized that it was from Dazed and Confused. But like when in my dream, when he said it wasn't from Dazed and Confused, it was from something else, and it was from like, obviously years later from from kind of where he's at now. But yeah, and because I was thinking, I'm sure he said that. And yeah, so I'm quite proud of that coming together, to be fair. Because it was quite different, and it was quite hard putting that one together, because some of the rhythm changes, like I think baffled the band at first, trying to get their head around it. But we got there, and I think it's like one of everyone's favorites now, which is good.
Yes, that is one of the best song concepts I think I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
Like,
and I also really like It Is What It Is. Um, I'd spent a lot of time on that, and wrestled with that myself until I was confident enough to kind of present it to the band as a song idea to work on. Um, yeah, and that came together really, really great as well in the studio. Like the producer was amazing, and he kind of really understood what we were trying to do with it all. And yeah, and now we're just trying to figure out how the fuck we can play it live. But yeah,
well,
but that's our problem, no one else's.
well, you've literally just segued beautifully into my next question, which is obviously you've got a big UK tour coming up in September.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it.
yeah, we are actually. I mean, some touring for us has been a bit cursed, as I said earlier. I mean, when we did the tour for our last album, Black Spiders, we were only a few days into it before I got COVID, and we had to cancel the dates, and then we couldn't rearrange them properly for something, and then we were looking at when we could do some more dates, and then we ended up doing some at the end of last year.
Yeah.
So it was almost like a year late. But that was okay. And then, we looked at we booked a tour for March this year, which was meant to have been happening around the release of this album. And obviously, because everybody's wanting to go out on tour, it was going to be difficult to move those dates, which is why we didn't move them to when this album comes out. We just kind of thought, well, we're just going to go out and do it. And even then, we had to split the dates up because of, one of the band members couldn't originally make it a 2-week tour. for personal reasons. So we split the dates up, and then we ended up doing it with a sort of fairly new lineup. So now the band's solid. We're just so excited about the September dates. Like we've got quite a few festivals coming up during the summer. I think we've got like one every month now between now and September, and then I'm sure there'll be some more coming through once the album's out and the tracks more tracks get played everywhere. I'm sure we'll start getting asked to do some more gigs before the September dates. But yeah, we're really excited about going out with that. We've got a great support band in the Hot Dam. And so yeah, we're really looking forward to it, because live is where I think we excel. It's that's pretty much like when when the band first started, it's pretty much the same as it is now. When we're in the rehearsal room and we're hearing what we're playing, that's pretty much how we want other people to hear it, so that we want other people to have that experience. And I think you can get it from listening to the records. It's great, but if you can play the records just as well, but you're doing it live, it's kind of different because you're getting that different experience, and because you're actually there in the moment with the band and they're playing that song, so yeah, we can't wait.
No, I bet, and especially if you've had loads cancelled all the time. So I really hope that these actually go ahead and you actually get to go out and do it.
Fingers crossed. Let's not mention it. Maybe
so touching wood, we're all good.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you've got the festival shows coming up. So you've got the Call of the Wild on May 28th, Made in Stone 23rd of July, and then Firestorm on the 13th of August. So yeah, and you've done one recently, I believe. Was there one recent, or was there one coming up in April?
No, the one we did in April was we did a Uplift festival that was in a skate festival in Rotherham. That was really, really good. That was like the other week, and then we've got an album launch party, which is basically going to be the week after the record's out. And you can get people can if people pre-order the album through Record Junkie in Sheffield, you kind of get a free ticket for the gig. So that's going to be really exciting. And then I think also we've got we've got another gig booked now. I think we're doing the Rock and Blues Festival as well in at the end of July. So that should be really good. And I know there's a couple of others that that are just waiting to be confirmed. So yeah, so there'll probably be a few more that are going to be announced before September anyway.
Sheffield, what a city that is. I love that place so much. My parents are from there, so I just
okay, cool. Yeah, I mean it's great. I mean obviously that's where the band formed and where we rehearse, and we love doing gigs there. We've always got gigs at the Corp. In fact, actually, we are playing Winter Rocks in December now at the Corp. We're headlining the Saturday night, so that should be great.
Oh, awesome!
So I think after we've done this record launch show in May, I don't think we're going to play in Sheffield until the December show. So it kind of builds up that little bit of anticipation for people for when we come back to Sheffield. So it'll be the end of the year. It'll be like a really big sort of Christmas party for everybody, and yeah, can't wait for that. It's going to be really good because
that sounds great.
When we play the Corp, it's like something always happens. The PA might blow up, or the whole the national grid might go off, and then we can't do the gig. There's so many things that happen there. So yeah, it's all good.
I mean, a question that I really, really like to ask musicians is music videos. And I'm talking about not the final product, the making of them, the working up to them, etc. Love them or hate them?
Sometimes it can be really good. I mean, it really all depends. The last one that we did for Hot Wheels was thoroughly enjoyable because we were working with our friends that were making the video. We were just having a laugh. The concept and everything we completely understood, and we were totally behind it. We just had a really great time. We went down to somewhere near Merthyr Tydfil, to a studios down there. So we spent the night down there the night before. It's pretty much like going out on tour, but not having to get up and do a gig, and you could have a good wild time without having to worry about how your performance was going to be the next day, because yeah, it was all good, because we had a great time. And
Nice.
videos I don't mind, I mean, like lyric videos are obviously a lot easier because we don't have to do anything with them. But yeah, we like videos. I think we're probably going to do a couple more off this new record before the end of its life cycle. So I'm sure we'll be getting into that. And yeah, it's not too bad, really. Basically, you can't moan about the life that you want to pick of being in a band and going away. I mean, I've heard so many people moan about being in a band and what it's like to be in a band and all the hardships and stuff. And it's like, just remember why you're being in a band. I mean, it's to escape all that. It's to get away from all that, so you can just be yourself and be free and do what you want to do, really, pretty much. And yeah,
thanks. Exactly.
I've got no time for people that like say, oh, videos are so hard to make. It's like, shut up, just get on with it, man. You know what I mean? It's like, God, yeah. Don't come moaning to me because you've got millions in the bank and like you have to spend a couple of days doing a video, like terrible.
I mean, people
terrible
don't.
Life.
Yeah. People don't consume music videos like they used to. I feel like back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, like there were so many. I used to record Kerrang or Scuzz or whatever, and I'd record it on a VHS until it literally just finished. And I'd sit in my bedroom every single evening and just watch them. And I'd watch them back to back every single time, even though I knew what was coming. Like I used to live for after school for watch music videos. But I feel like
man,
now,
I mean, it's it's a thing to be admired to still do videos. I mean, sometimes it's a bit self-indulgent for bands, and but like I guess if you wanted to be, if you want to get your music across and try and do it visually and or something in an interesting way, because of like the way technology's moved on from even 5 or 10 years ago now, it's like it's the way to get known. I mean, back in the 70s and 80s and stuff, when bands wanted to get, when rock bands were out, they had to go out touring and stuff, and or you'd have to go and see, you'd either have to go and see them live, or or you'd hear something on the radio, and that was about it. But now there's just so many outlets for all that, visual and audio. It's just bonkers, and we understand that, it's when we put our album out, we're not just competing with other rock bands. You're basically competing with everybody that's doing music. So, you just have to do the best you can and be proud of that, really,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Peter, this has been absolutely incredible. I've really, really enjoyed talking to you, my friend. Is there any plugs for social medias or anything you want people to go check out before I let you get out of it?
Well, I mean, if you go to our website, you'll be able to, go on there and pre-order the new album. You'll be able to see, like the latest videos. You'll be able to see some of our older videos. You'll be able to go and check out all our back catalogue. It's all up there. It's on most things like Spotify and everything else as well. So there's like a wealth of music to tap into, and yeah. And if you want to get into the fan club, you can go check out our Patreon and see what you can do there, and it helps the band to stay afloat, and also to get into the studio and get recording and stuff, and through the Patreon fan club, you kind of get privileges of like hearing music first and hearing about gigs first and getting extra things like that. And so so it's all good, and you can do that for a minimum amount. We understand how things are nowadays. The cost of living's amazingly shit for most people, but you can get involved for a very minimum amount of money, and be rewarded both physically and mentally.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Guys, Can't Die, Won't Die is out Friday, May 12th. Make sure you're picking it up, pre-ordering it, stream it to high heaven when it comes out. And go and check out Black Spiders on tour in September. Peter, thank you so much, my friend. I hope you have an absolutely grand evening.
I will do. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with future episodes by subscribing to our channels. For more information on this podcast, or for all the latest music news, reviews, interviews and more, head over to our website www.therazorsedge.rocks.